Hello, welcome into this morning's video. It's Monday at GasOffice.com, which means only one thing, it's Europe Day. Every Monday at Gas Office we have a look at weather for the coming week across the continent, and today is no exception. It's a pretty mild scene across much of Europe today. It's going to be staying generally fairly mild, really, for the time of year across many parts of Europe over the course of the coming week. But I think it will turn colder in the north and the west later on in the week, and pushing some central parts of Europe as well. Quite an interesting week's weather coming up. Now, before we get on with European Outlook, just say about the ads. There's links to articles on most of the pages at gasoffice.com. Have a browse through widgets. Anything that you're interested in, just click through. You'll be able to go off and read those articles. Website using for European Outlook is westend.de. Private link to it on the links page. Thanks so much for doing that. So here we go then with today's Arctic pressure chart. We've got high pressure out to the west of Europe, reaching up from the Azores up towards Ireland. That leaves most of Europe actually in a fairly mild west to northwesterly flow. There's not really anything particularly cold coming in there. We've got a band of rain lying from Scandinavia down through Germany and into France. Well, rain for France and Germany, but snow, of course, has come up into Scandinavia. The upper air temperature show it's generally quite a mild scene, really, across most parts of Europe. Certainly wouldn't say that's particularly cold for the time of year. It is a little bit colder out in the northwest compared to average, but really generally quite a mild scene there from those parts of Europe. Dew points back this up as well. The severely cold dew points really push right back in towards Russia and also across parts of Norway. Generally, the dew points are much higher than you would expect at this time of year. So there's that band of rain and snow. It's rain through France, a mix of rain, sleet and snow through Germany and Denmark, and then mainly snow as we come up towards Sweden and going over the Baltic Sea. To the east of that, lots of dry weather, a few snow flurries in the far northeast of Europe, but mainly dry really for central, eastern and northeastern parts of Europe. And then heavy thundery showers, thunderstorms have come down in toward the southeast part of the Mediterranean, so through Greece, down in southern parts of Italy, some big thunderstorms and heavy showers likely there. Further west, not too bad actually, a few thunderstorms around North Africa, interestingly, but much of the Balearic Islands will be dry, as will Spain and Portugal. Generally quite a dry day for the UK and Ireland. Well, bit wet in the southeast this morning, but once that's clear, it'll be mainly dry from the north across England and Wales through the course of this afternoon. Temperatures, well, fairly chilly, I suppose, for central, east and northeast parts of Europe, but compared to where we could be at this time of year, not too bad. Generally around 1, 2, 3 degrees above freeze. You have to go right up towards west of Russia to find temperatures coming out sub-zero. So yeah, generally fairly mildish, really, for the time of year across most parts of Europe. As we go through to the middle of the week, we're going to bring an active cold front into the north, the west of Europe. That's going to bring heavy rain initially, and then that'll turn readily to snow as this cold northwesterly wind digs in around this area of low pressure. Elsewhere through the south and the east, again, quite a bit of dry weather coming up. So we move through into the upper air temperatures. We're going to find the cold air digging down from the northwest into the northwest of Europe. So after a mild start on Wednesday for Ireland and the United Kingdom, it'll turn rapidly colder from the northwest. And that mild sector is pushing into France, Germany, Denmark, into Scandinavia. But it won't last long. This cold air will very quickly follow it in from behind and could turn some of the rain to snow, actually. I mean, it's fairly chilly in the east of Europe, but not, as I say, anywhere near as cold as it could be. Dew points showing that the freezing, really freezing dew points are pushed well back in towards Russia and the far north of Scandinavia, although they are turning colder here across the northwest in towards Ireland, UK and northern parts of France and Belgium and Holland as well, turning a bit colder there with dew points. Best back warmer sector through France going into Germany for a time, but it'll turn back into cold air, I think, as that cold front pushes through. So an active cold front sweeping in from the north and west. By 6 o'clock in the evening on Wednesday, this has it through the North Sea, down in towards Denmark, northern and western parts of Germany, and going down in towards the Low Countries and France. Heavy rain with some sleet or snow on that front. It'll turn readily to snow, I think, as that cold air digs in from behind. Heavy snow showers then following in to the north and the west, in towards western parts of Scotland and into Ireland. A slice of mainly dry weather through Spain and Portugal, southern France, going up in towards the east of Germany, Poland, and a few snow flurries as we come up into the northeast of Europe. Some snow there for central northern parts of Scandinavia, and still the heavy showers and thunderstorms down through the southeast, Italy, Balkans, Greece, Turkey. Could have some heavy thundery downpours there. And of course, in mountainous areas, that is likely to be giving snow. So the temperatures through middle part of the week show that we're going to be, again, just a little bit above freezing for most central and eastern parts of Europe. It is cold by where I am in the UK, that's cold, but where you are, if you're watching this, say in Poland, that's not too bad, is it? Temperatures of 1 or 2 degrees above freezing, nowhere near as bad as it could be. And there's that milder slice of air there through France going in towards the Low Countries before the cold air digs back in behind that cold front. Moving through to the end of the week, I've got a cold trough of low pressure sinking in to the north and west of Europe, into central parts of Europe as well. At the same time, on the eastern side of that trough, we're going to drag up some very mild air for the time of year out of the Mediterranean into eastern and perhaps even some northeastern parts of Europe. So cold in the northwest and really quite warm really down in the southeast. Look at that with the upper air temperatures. We see very warm air through the Mediterranean, or very warm for the time of year, through the Med and going up into the east and the southeast Europe. A little bit of a winter heat wave likely in the southeast Europe. Conversely, it's quite cold in the north and the west. I mean, we're not talking about severe cold temperatures by any means. The severe cold temperatures are up here over the Arctic, where we've got all this blue and purple. But it is cold-ish in the north and west of Europe, as it is for some central parts, but not as cold as it could be. Dew points show the extent of that warmth coming out of the Med into the southeast of Europe. At the same time, it is fairly cold through Germany and northwestern parts of Europe, particularly Scandinavia, looking pretty bitter there with those dew points. So a right old mix of rain, sleet and snow there as we go through to the end of the week. Much of this down here in the southeast will be heavy thunderstorms, heavy rain through Italy, over the Adriatic into the Balkans, going down to southeast Europe. Snow, of course, over mountainous regions, but really quite torrential rain and thunderstorms likely through parts of Greece, for instance. Also a heavy rain for Spain. There could be some thunderstorms setting off there and over Corsica, Sardinia. Generally very unsettling through much of the Mediterranean. Snow over Pyrenees and the Alps. And then this band of rain, sleet and snow here through eastern parts of Europe. Mainly snow as we get up in towards the northeast. And also heavy snow showers. Maybe some longer spells of rain, sleet or snow for parts of the UK, Ireland, northern France, going in towards the Low Countries as well. The temperatures through the middle part of the week show it's quite cold through Germany. It does turn a bit colder there. Behind that cold front going through the middle part of the week, which could deposit some snow, the temperature could go just a little bit below freezing, down to -1 or -2. Conversely, it's quite warm in the east and the southeast Europe. You can't really make it out that well, but it's fairly warm for the time here in the east and the southeast of Europe, and then cold out in the north and the west of Europe. Finally going through to next weekend, and we're staying on the cold side in the west of Europe and through central Europe as well, with this trough of low pressure bringing down these northerly winds, but warmth again will be in the east and the southeast. There's the upper air temperature showing that it's mild through most of the Mediterranean into southeast Europe and going into the east, whereas it's cold in the north and the west of Europe. The dew points show that many central and western northwest parts of Europe are below freezing, as they are for much of Norway, although extremely mild for time of year across parts of Finland and going into the west of Russia. And then, as I say, very mild through much of the Mediterranean into southeastern parts of Europe as well. So some of this going up towards western Russia and Finland could be, believe it or not, a little bit sleety, but I think it's probably mainly going to be snow, actually, when we get to the time frame. And then we've got the risk of snow there for parts of Norway as well. Heavy showers and thunderstorms still going on in the southeast of Europe. Heavy showers and thunderstorms for parts of Italy. Drying out into the western Mediterranean. And then up to the northwest and through Germany. It's quite cold with the risk of rain, sleet or snow. Temperatures through such parts of Europe going below freezing all day next weekend. So yeah, it does turn colder through such parts of Europe. Warm in the east and the southeast, and cold out in the northwest. But core of the cold probably centred actually over central parts of Europe, where those temperatures will be below freezing. So in summary, it's going to be turning colder across central, western and northwestern parts of Europe in the coming week, whereas in the east and the southeast it's going to be turning exceptionally mild really for the time of year, and there'll be a growing threat through central and northwestern Europe of some snow as we go through into the middle and latter stage of the week and next weekend. Could be some quite significant snow in places. That's it for now. Wherever you are in Europe, have a great week, and that's all for now. Thanks for watching.